we go. Okay. We are now live on Facebook. So, hi, this is Alice Emerson with the Holistic Chamber of Commerce, and I'm here with Sonja Schoonenberg. And Sonja, thank you so much for joining us.
Welcome.
This is going to be great because I'm really excited to be able to talk about nutrition in a way that's so personalized. And so, given your background as a registered dietitian, nutritionist, and certified diabetes educator, you come to us in a perfect position as well with the company called Regenerate, which are the VP of Product Experiences. So thank you for taking the time to join us today. We are talking about DNA is not our destiny. So you want to dive into that?
Yes. It's a hot topic. Everywhere you look these days, there's information on DNA. It's who we are, it's what we're made of. But what's most interesting is, we know DNA is, of course, the core being of who we are. We have the same DNA when we're born as when we leave the planet at the end of our life. But I think what most people have always been taught is that you are given a set of genes and there's nothing you can do. The genes you have, you are stuck with those. There's nothing you can change to make you healthier. But what we've learned over recent years through something called the science of epigenetics, which is really looking specifically at genetic expression, that we are not doomed by the fate of our DNA that we were born with. So through environmental changes, such as dietary choices, exercise, stress, of course, our toxic environment, whether you choose to live in a smoggy place or if you choose to be in a place where there's lots of abundant fresh air, those kinds of things, in addition to just the everyday evolving stress in our lives, and all these different things can actually control how our genes express themselves. So if you think of it kind of as a light switch, so if you do some good things, you can flip the good switch on. If you do some not so good things, you can flip the bad switch on. So what's most exciting about the science of epigenetics is it allows us to take control of that DNA, and it tells us really essentially that it is not our destiny. So it's a really, really exciting emerging science.
I love that. Epigenetics sounds like such a scary word, or maybe very, too much of a science word to understand. But basically, it's just what you said. It's, being able to change the environment. And that environment is not only physical, mental, but, with nutrition. And so basically, what we're really here to talk about is the nutritional part of that modulation, of changing that part of the environment, right? With specific food supplementation rather than just our normal vitamins that we would swallow, right? So Regenerate has a really great program. So I want to kind of dive into how they do that.
Very, very simple. Thank you for inviting me here to talk a little bit about it, because I will tell you, as a registered dietitian, all these years that I've practiced and helped people, one of the things that was always missing is the ability to really dial in and get personalized with things. So in the past, we would use what we referred to as one size fits all supplementation. We would have the ability to, you and I would go to, let's say, the health food store, and you and I would purchase vitamin D or vitamin C, whatever it is that we were looking for. There's a good chance, outside of maybe a different brand, that we would buy the same thing, the same dose, and take it, the same way. But we know individually we are two different people. So really what's happened in the world of, what I refer to as technology meets nutrition, as we have utilized technology to help us understand at the epigenetic level what our bodies actually truly need. Now, we know that the world we live in today, unfortunately, our food is not as optimal as it should be. Even if you're eating an organic diet, what's happened is a lot of the essential trace minerals and nutrients that were once present in plentiful amounts in our soil are no longer there, or they are depleted. So what that means to us is that we have essentially depleted food. So even if it's organic just simply means it's made without pesticides or grown without pesticides and herbicides. but it doesn't really control so much the nutrient value of the food. And so we're eating food that is less than optimal in terms of its nutritional content. So therefore, history has taught us that in order to supplement your diet, you need to swallow pills. Again, getting back to the fact that
Mm.
we really believe that one size fits all nutrition is an archaic model. We now have the ability to dial in at the epigenetic level through some testing, very, very simple diagnostic testing, to see exactly what is going on, how our genes are expressing themselves. And based on that, we're able to identify what true nutritional deficiencies we have. And then take that, essentially what I refer to as a roadmap or a blueprint, and formulate a custom superfood. So think of it as more of a, if you're familiar with a greens powder, which I think most people are these days, a greens powder or more of a bioactive superfood that is created just for you and just for me based on our individual epigenetic needs. So it's something that, as a healthcare provider I was chatting with the other day, said it's kind of like a moving target. And I said, that's exactly what it is. We know that our needs change, whether it's related to the stress we're under, the temperature may be different outside. There are a lot of different things that change throughout the year that cause our genetic expression to change. So we're able to course correct along the way and actually use food as medicine to
Mm.
correct those current underlying nutritional deficiencies. So that's really the biggest difference between what we're doing in personalized nutrition, is we're connecting the dots between technology giving us the information that people, what people actually need, and then we're creating for them a custom blended superfood that is all organic. It's whole food, it's vegan, it is straight from the earth, not from a laboratory.
Yeah, I love that. And I love that it's so personalized because like you said, I've been reading the Dirty Genes book, which I find fascinating, you know, the tale of two mice and all of that, you know, twin mice, how you can just have this different nutritional profile, even if you have, you know, the same basic DNA, right? Because of the environmental changes and stress levels and everything else. So for me, I did my test. I did the hair follicle test, and I know there's a urinalysis that's available as well. But I live a vegan lifestyle. So for the most part, you would think, you know, I would have this great nutritional report, but I had some deficiencies. Now, in the past, it was always take certain vitamins that, you know, were just across the board. Like you said, they were not personalized. What I really learned from this whole thing was, you know, maybe I didn't need as much B6 as I did B12. Like the breakdown of the report that you get is so personal based on um, your hair follicle or your urinalysis. And even with the urinalysis test that's available, it gets into even the gut health. I mean, it's so personal that you could actually over supplement with some things that you don't need. So I love the fact that it's very specific. And I love that it's from food because this is a big discussion that food is medicine. This
Mhm.
is, you know, the true supplement and where we should be getting our nutrition. And it's a huge discussion, of course, always in my world, but especially right now as people are trying to boost their health. And I think they're tuning into this. Don't you agree in this time? And
It's very relevant. And when you look at the world of epigenetics, I was looking at some statistics the other day, and it really explains a lot of what is going on and why we're heading down this road. So the global epigenetic market, so I'm talking, the whole market of epigenetic testing, is slated to be worth about $25 billion in the next few years. So if you think about epigenetics as this little tiny snowball at the top of the hill that is beginning to run down, we're going to see everything flip that switch and go into the personalized mode, which I think is so, so great to hear, because we've been one size fits all for way too long, whether that's in the medical world and, diagnostic treatments and recommendations for, pharmaceuticals or any of these things. It's been one size fits all for way too long. And now we just simply
mhm.
have the technology that allows us to look a little bit deeper, the testing, the hair testing, as well as the new urine test that we're working with. It's actually a laboratory diagnostic that looks specifically at what we call metabolites, so a little bit further upstream than a hair test would look at. And really what it's telling us is our overall health in a couple of key areas, actually 6 to be exact. So we look at B vitamin methylation cofactors, we look at energy production, we look at inflammation and oxidative stress, muscle assessment, gut assessment, and the status of your amino acids. So it's a very, very comprehensive profile. And then based on that, each individual receives a rating essentially of, are you good? Are you fair? Or are you poor in each of those categories? And the things that show up as out of balance, we'll call them, are actually the things that we look to formulate your custom blended superfood with. So it's very, very tuned in to what it is exactly your needs based on that dynamic changing test that you can have really every 3 months, because we know our bodies do change. So it's a very, very fascinating science, and we're just beginning this mission.
I love this. I love this so much. I mean, I really do. I've been using the superfood. I'm on my 3rd month, so I'm looking forward to the next test, just to see how well I've improved, or maybe even other, because I mean, there's been different stressors here, right? But yeah, I feel fabulous. It's been delicious too. I just got the new one, and it has a little bit of a, yeah, berry taste to it. So with that in mind, though, what I love is that doctors, like, this is really for practitioners, as to whether you're functional medicine, a chiropractor, wellness provider, specialize in compounding at pharmacy, that if you have appointments that you take to see patients, if you're really providing wellness care, this is a really great addition to be able to offer to people, your clientele. Even regular family doctors could start focusing more on personalized nutrition and offering this in their practice. I just think it's a great addition for medical care. We just had a talk yesterday with another doctor talking about this whole, shift in healthcare, and that it's more on wellness rather than just the sick care, that we're talking about true health care and wellness and disease prevention and immune boosting. So
100%. It really makes all the difference in the world. And our mission is really to help healthcare practitioners be able to capitalize on a movement that's out there. It's going on whether we like it or not, and that is patients seeking out solutions. And so we truly believe that if we take this concept and this technology and this really state-of-the-art technology and superfood, and we combine it with what patients are already looking for, and then we bring the healthcare provider into the mix and we help them actually capitalize on what's going on, so that they're in the know with their patients, instead of the patient comes back for their next visit and they've already been using a particular supplement for 6 months and it may have been the wrong thing perhaps. So this allows the provider to actually have the conversation with the patient and to have a pulse on what's going on in that area of their wellness as well, rather than just the prescription drugs or the diagnostic labs they're going through, to actually have a pulse on what nutrition they are utilizing in their day as well. So it really is a difference maker for our providers.
yeah, it is. I mean, so many people, I know in the holistic chamber, we have, a lot of functional medicine doctors that do some different diagnostic testing and use this. A similar approach in dealing with the root cause. And sometimes you're just nutritionally deficient. Amino acids are low, your B12 is low, you can't focus, like that sort of thing. And instead of truly just getting maybe an ADHD medicine, maybe we just need to, get you the right nutritional profile and supplement, which would be food and our diet. As a registered dietitian, this,
You've got
right?
it
This is
right.
why
Yes.
we're doing it. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, I love that. So we had talked about, food and diet, and that we need to do this to optimize our life. I talked about how practitioners can add this if they want to join a practitioner's program. That's available as well. If they want to add this to their services, they can contact us for that. But also, we had talked a little bit about this VPAC. So, tell us a little bit more about the VPAC that's just come out.
Yeah, I'm happy to share a little bit more. Obviously, we're in a very, very unique time right now in our world, and a time where people are really looking for solutions to not only keep themselves well, but to treat themselves should something go wrong. So our company felt very, very strongly that we needed to leverage some strategic partnerships that we have. And our partnerships don't come from a pharmaceutical company. They are with farms and with, again, those suppliers of food as medicine. So we leveraged a strategic partnership that we have with a farming cooperative in Central Florida. And through that process, we're able to bring to market two incredible new products. The first is actually a preventative product. It's called Immunity. And really what it is a tea concentrate of a lot of different medicinal herbs that, when combined together, they really are intended to support the health of the immune system on an ongoing basis. So while everybody is out there buying every, vitamin C and zinc and all these things off the shelf, we know those are very, very good, solid things to have. But we also know that the root of many pharmaceuticals and medicines that we take today come from herbs. And so when we look at the power of medicinal herbs, they've been used for years, for centuries, dating way back to, research that we can't even see documented. But medicinal herbs have very, very strong therapeutic benefits when it comes to looking at really overall classification of colds, viruses, flus, all of those sorts of things. So the Immunity is actually a product that can be taken on an ongoing basis to boost the ongoing immune support. And then we also have what's called a VPAC Immunity Defense Kit. Now, this is a little bit more specific and just flying off the shelves, essentially, the virtual shelves, that is. Yeah. With the understanding of what's happening in our world today, people are looking for solutions. This is simply it's a kind of a 1-2 punch, I guess is probably the best way of saying it. It's a concentrate of medicinal herbs, and that is taken for 5 days in a powder form. So it's 3 times a day in a powder form, just in a cup of warm water. You can drink it. Very, very simple to take. And then also a tea. So a tea that is not like a tea bag you would buy in the grocery store, but something that is very, very potent. And when you put this combination of medicinal herbs together, you really have that 1-2 punch of knocking out the virus, cold, or flu behavior in the very, very early stages. So we can't, of course, claim to diagnose, treat, or cure anything, but we know when we give the body what it is asking for, these herbs truly have therapeutic benefit and can help to squash what is going on in the body, whether that's a viral or a flu or a cold-like symptom that an individual is having. So it's a really, really appropriate time, obviously, for these products to come to launch, but we are so excited to have them, and the demand has been overwhelming. But we really, truly believe this is going to help support the health of humanity right now.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's really a great product. I mean, the ingredients are just amazing, and people are not, it's not unusual for people to run into the pharmacy and get what they look at echinacea or this or that. Like, this is not unusual. It's not like there's some secret, herbs here. It's just, it's really blended, and it's specific, and it's scientifically proven. And you have a great team of doctors and formulators that are all putting this together, and who have a true heart for wellness to be able to offer people this option naturally to give their bodies what they need. We have to be good to ourselves. Our body has been through, I know I put my body through a lot, and I'm so very thankful that I'm as healthy as I am. And so I want to be good to it as well, right? And so this is just a natural way to do it, because I'm finding when I'm using some of the over the counter things, my body doesn't always react so favorably.
And this is, if you think about the sourcing of herbs as well, too. I mean, there are a lot of herbal products out there, but the sourcing of where these things come from is very, very key, because sourcing obviously strengthens the ability to, I mean, obviously we know where it comes from, number one, but also the ability to control the potency of what you're using. And so when you take these traditional herbs like echinacea, elderberry, things that people are more familiar with, and you combine them with some other ingredients that perhaps people are not as familiar with, things like astragalus or potentilla arguta, which I knew nothing about until recently, but it is one of the most potent herbs for knocking out respiratory behavior that is associated with any viral activity. So if we have, things that are specific to the respiratory tract, this is a really, really important herb for knocking that stuff out. So it's not just like buying echinacea or elderberry or any of these things by themselves. It's really the perfect storm or combination of an herbal blend that helps to really fight these sorts of things, these conditions. And of course, a very similar blend, when blended together, actually helps to strengthen the ongoing immune support of humanity. So it really is a unique product. There's really nothing else like it on the market. And we truly believe we're going to help a lot of people stay well.
Yeah. Yeah. And when you say source, we're talking organically sourced as well.
Correct.
All the products are, and I am really happy to be able to put products that I trust in my body, and to be able to share it with my family and friends. So, yeah, I love this. It's perfect time to be able to really share this. And I appreciate you coming on, because there's been so much discussion about, boosting the immune system and finding the good, the right source, organic source, and
Challenge.
the right blend. Yeah, it is a challenge. It really is. And I love that it's, right. It's in Florida. I'm in South Carolina, of course. So that's not too far from me. I'd love to be able to see that someday, to be able to go visit this fabulous farm, this
Yes,
co-op, right?
an amazing place.
Mm-hmm.
If
And
you
how they grow everything is very specific. So it's not
It is.
just, yeah.
So what's interesting about our farm is that they were soil farmers before they got into the whole superfood, method of operation, we'll call it. So they really worked very closely together to make sure that they were perfecting healthy soil, because we know that every plant, whether it's a tomato or a cucumber or a pepper, they all have different nutrient requirements in their soil. And most of us, and we garden here in Minnesota for that short growing period we have, but we use the same soil to grow all of these plants. And every year we have some plants that turn out better than others. So they've really perfected the art of healthy soil, which is what grows the healthiest plant. And they actually pick the plants at their peak ripeness. And then the only processing that they go through is a very low temperature dehydration process and a grinding into a fine powder, which becomes our Optimate superfood. So everything is done with lots of TLC, lots of quality, and of course that organic label that we can stand behind. So I could not be more grateful for the partnership that we do have with the farm.
Yeah. Thank you so much. I'm excited. I'm excited about it. I've enjoyed using it. I feel great on it. And I really do appreciate you coming and, making epigenetics not so scary. I mean, some people hear that word and they're like, what? I mean, other people, some practitioners have heard of it. But no, it's truly wonderful to know that we can work with our DNA, we can work with our genes by kind of cleaning them up, by providing good quality food and removing toxins from our body and replacing it with good supplements that, come from a good, clean food. So,
100%. And, an easy way for everybody to understand epigenetics, if you think of the word epi meaning above, so we know DNA is sort of that foundation. It's the who we are. The epi is who we become. So it's above and beyond DNA. That's probably the easiest way to summarize that one powerful word.
Love that. Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
Yeah, above and that's who we want to become. We want to go above and beyond, you
Above and
know?
beyond. Yes, that is so true.
Yeah. And well, thank you. And thank you for recommending the book, Dirty Jeans. And I have been reading that and just
Great
about
book.
finished. Such a great book. So thank you, Sonja. I appreciate you being here. I'll put some information in the comments if you want more information about Regenerate and epigenetics, and I'll provide those links. But thank you so much for being here. I really do appreciate it.
You're welcome. The other thing I thought I'd mention before we leave today, as we
Yeah.
do, if you have healthcare providers who
Mm-hmm.
are listening, we do have the opportunity every Thursday night at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time for practitioners to come and learn more, to really get a deeper dive into the science behind what we're doing, but then also to hear a little bit about how this may work in your practice, whether you're telemedicine friendly or you're, in the four walls of a clinic, or maybe it's a little of both based on the circumstances we see today. We work very closely with practitioners. So Alice can share that information with you as well if you'd like to come and join us for a very, very informative webinar. We'd love to have you as a guest. So thank you, Alice, for inviting me to this call today.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you very much, because that's a good point with the whole telemedicine, that all of this can be really done, in this environment that we're working in right now. So yeah, I'll provide that information as well. So any providers that, are interested in, giving this as an option for their clientele, their patients, this would be a perfect opportunity to listen in on Thursday. So
Terrific. Well, we'd love everybody to come. So thank you for inviting me today.
Yeah, thank you. And have a fabulous stay at home, stay well rest of the week.
You do the same.
All right. Thank you, Sonja.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye-bye.